acclaimed healer and medium. Most importantly, at the moment, she is an author as well. And not only has she written 2 books about Aboriginal healing, at the moment there is one that we're very excited about, aren't we, Robbie?
Very excited.
Vibrant Living, braving the pandemic with the help of your guardian angel. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and Robbie especially, thank you for joining
my
me
pleasure.
And us. I'm trusting, Robbie, that people who are watching will join us on the Angel Heart Radio page, because that's where, everybody, you can make comments or ask questions. So fire away, and
love the questions.
We can do our best to answer them.
Yeah.
Robbie, you
Annette.
you're such a delight, and your passion, like mine, is to help people to be the happiest and the healthiest that they can be. And certainly with this new book, boy, it's so practical.
That was the whole point of getting it out there, is to put this information in everyday, easy to understand language that anybody can access it, because it's such a powerful, when you start working with your guardian angel and start allowing them to help you more and knowing how to do that, it's life-changing. It just changes everything. And you know that from firsthand experience.
Yes. Life becomes easier because we don't have to be burdened. We can, our angels are waiting there to share the load.
Mm-hmm. You really don't get stressed out, and no matter what's happening, you just find peace with whatever is going on around you, which I think a lot of people could use right now. Yeah.
We have somebody joining us, good old Elisa, who's over in South Australia. Say hi to you and to everyone else. This is so good. Technology is fantastic. To think that you're on an island out of Seattle, I'm in Melbourne, and here's somebody in South Australia saying hi to us both. Fantastic.
I know it's you've been doing the technology for quite some time, but now I think most of the world is catching up with what you've been doing, the Zoom and the Skyping and communicating over the computer. But yeah, you're an old hand at this. I remember you just doing it. We'd be doing the radio show years ago, and you'd be in an airport, just finding a quiet little corner. Like, oh, she's so relaxed about this. Yeah.
Oh, yes. So it really, the world has opened up in closing down, where it's opened up because we're depending on Zoom, not only for local meetings, but global as well.
Yeah. And that's a good way of putting it. As things close down, other things have opened up. Yeah, It's true.
So, vibrant living. I love that. I mean, the energy in those words is fabulous.
It's vibrant living, braving the pandemic with help from your guardian angel. But I want people to know that it's not just about the pandemic. It's all in there, whether you want help with a career or you want help with a relationship. It doesn't have to anything to do with the pandemic if you don't want it to be. But we certainly have tailored it to that because there's so many people who have needs right now. But it's about learning how to lean on and utilize powerful help from your guardian angel. The guardian angel, everybody has one, and no matter whether you believe in them or not, and they're there waiting to be of assistance, but we have to ask. They have their guardianship role. That's why they're called guardians. They're there to make sure that you're not harmed or killed or injured if that's not something that your soul wanted you to experience. That's why they're guarding you from that. But there's so much more they can do, but because it's a free will planet, they're not allowed to just step in. And one of the examples that I like to give that help people understand that is that it's like a child who wants to learn how to tie their shoes, and they might make a really tangled mess of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the learning process. Just as we come here as souls to this free will planet, to experience and to learn and to grow. And so we might make some real tangled messes, but like that child asking the parent for help, then the parent steps in and assists in the way that's perfect for that child. And it's the same thing with our guardian angels. They will assist every single time, but they may not do it the way you think they will, but they will assist every time according to the highest good of all and your soul's intention. So you can say, thank you for helping me win the lottery, but that won't happen if it's not your soul's intention, which it probably isn't. But they can certainly help you bring, nice try, but they can bring abundance in other ways. And so that's what I wanted people to recognize, is that the guardian angel is like the gatekeeper. They're like the first responders. They're designed to be the easiest to communicate to. And that's really who you want to start developing that relationship first. Sure, there's spirit guides, there's other angels, there's loved ones who have passed over. The guardian angel is really supposed to be the first in line and the easiest to build that relationship with.
Right. And it is possible for us to ask our guardian angels questions like, you know, what is your name, da 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 da. Right.
You may not get an answer right away, but you may get something down the road. They'll give it to you when they want to.
Right.
Or not. But you know, a lot of people ask me all the time when I do consultations, and I tell them who's there assisting them from the other side. They always want to know, well, what's their name? And I have to tell them it doesn't usually translate well into the English language. So
Right.
Call them whatever you want. Call them whatever you want. And sometimes you will get names that pop into your head, but really, whatever you're comfortable with, they're happy to come to anything.
Right. Yeah. I know you have a special name for your band, so you your
my team. Yeah, in fact, I have quite a few of them assisting because of the work that I do, and they, I don't even need to know who's stepping forth. I just know, just as I want people to know that too, you can ask, and if your guardian angel feels that there's someone better who would be able to assist you, then they allow that spirit guide or whatever to come forward. Just like when I'm writing a blog or an article, it's usually somebody different who comes in depending on what I'm writing about. And some are definitely easier to write with than others, It's like, oh, can I have the one I had before, please? That was so much easier. But it's all good, right? But I have this team, and they help me during these consultations, and then they keep helping people afterwards. And it got to the point where I could see where people were getting stuck, where they were getting hung up. And I'm sure you see it in your work too. You can see where people tend to get hung up. And so they wanted this, my guides, my team wanted this information put out there, and put out there very quickly, so that people would know how to move beyond the fears, the anxieties, finding that health, that economic stability, relationship, whatever, and to call on them, and how to be able to pick up on their messages, interpret their response, their guidance. So we put it all in that little compact book, and it should answer all the questions, right?
It's fabulous. Now, listening to us, watching us at the moment is a very dear friend of yours and mine, Rosemary Butterworth.
Oh, I love that. I love you, Rosemary. I just have such fond memories of her and her four-leggeds and her husband there, and staying in her beautiful home. Yes. It's just a wise, generous, kind woman. I could go on.
Absolutely. And she is one earth angel who is still doing magic. She and John moved up to their farm to supposedly have a quieter life. And Rosemary is busier than ever.
I mean, you and I can laugh at that, right? Rosemary is such a high-level service. There's no way she's just going to retire on a farm. That's just not her style. No. She's going to be helping people to her last breath. Yeah.
Indeed. Yes. Yeah. Yes, she wasn't retiring, but she was thinking she was going to have a quieter life. But no. She is an amazing facilitator of healer as well as yourself.
And so humble and loving. Oh, so humble. I'll never forget when I walked into her home, and I was going to stay with her for a few days while I was in Australia, in Sydney. And she said, I want you to know that our home is your home. And it's just like, oh, they could not have made me feel more welcome. John is just as lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolute blessings.
Yes. Yes.
So now back to the angels, Robbie, and our guardian angel is our first stop. People might ask, how do we know, is it my mind working, or am I actually getting a message?
I think that's a question that a lot of people ask a lot. How can I tell whether this is something that's coming from this, the mind, or from the angels? And the difference is, and you probably have noticed this because you've been doing this for a long time, when it's a guidance from your mind, it'll tell you that you should, you have to, you need to. It's a bit fear-based, right? And controlling. Whereas the guidance from the angels and spirit guides, and we only work with benevolent spirit guides, they'll never force you to do anything. And they love us beyond our comprehension. They guide you with love. It's that intuition. That's their guidance system. So it just feels right. So one is fear-based and the other is love-based. And they will guide you with your intuition. That's what that intuition is designed for. We're all wired to pick up on this guidance. And they've made it very clear to me, getting our message across to you is not a problem. And they've even said, if we have to have somebody make a movie, we'll do it. If we have to have somebody write a book and have a book fall on their head, we will do that. And I have had people tell me my book has fallen off the shelf because that it's so easy for them. And they have so much love for us. And we're creating a lot more pain and struggle than it was really intended. Yes, we're here to learn. But we're also making it a lot harder than it was ever supposed to be. So, no surprise there, right? So let them help guide you to the easier, better way. They see the bigger picture. They know how to get you where you want to go. And if you go where your soul's trying to guide you to, you're going to love where it takes you. And so that's where they will guide you according to, again, the highest good of all and your soul's intentions. But they're going to take you where your soul's been trying to direct you that your mind might have been resistant to. And it's just so much better when you just let go and allow them to do that.
Yes, it can. They're here to make life easier, because so often we feel as though we're pushing upstream, and obviously we're going the wrong way. It's like, take a step back. Yes,
exactly. That's how you know you've stepped out of the flow, right? And that because if you're trying to write a book, as an example, and your soul does not want you to, it's not intending for you to write a book in this lifetime, you're just going to meet one obstacle after another. It's just not going to be as successful as you wanted. But if your soul wants you to write a book, I'll raise my hand to that. I didn't see that one coming, but yes, it does. It wanted me. I asked, what's the highest vision of my soul? And they said, write a few books. And I just, like, really, I hate writing, but I'm designed to write. I'm designed to know how to put it together, right? So with their help, the first two books are now in 43 countries, having won awards, and it's published in several languages. There's no way, Annette, I could have done that on my own. You probably know that about me. And so with their help, it's possible. If this is your soul's intention, then they're going to help you do that. And it's going to be so much easier than what your mind thinks. I think that the job for me and you and probably a lot of other people is just to get the mind out of the way. It's going to negate whether they were showing up or whether they were helping you. And speaking of showing up, I think it's important for most people to know the guides, every person is clairsentient, where you feel with your intuition. But very few people are wired to see them and hear them. So if you're expecting them to show up for you in a vision, or you're telling them to whisper your name to me and it's not coming, that's just not likely to happen. But they will respond to you in their own time, in their own way. And that's why Vibrant Living talks about all the different ways that they help you, all the different ways that they send messages. And if you miss it, they'll bring it around again. Don't worry, they'll bring it around until you get it. If you misinterpret it, they'll bring it around again. And it's very easy for them to pop thoughts into your head. They're telepathic to our thoughts. And so that's how you ask. We should probably make sure to cover that. You simply ask in your mind. And you know this process well. You ask in your mind. And they are telepathic to your thoughts. Your guardian angel is with you from your first breath to your last. Always there, listening, waiting to help. So put them to work.
Yes. Now, Rosemary made a comment. She feels that at this time in creation, it is very important that we work with our angels as they can help us to be more of who we are. Oh, hasn't she got it in a little nutshell?
She's been doing this a long time. She's so right, Rosemary. And we've never had this level of help. Never had this level of help. Because what's happening now, especially with COVID, and we talk about this in the book as well, is that this is the beginning of the awakening process for mankind. This is the beginning. These are auspicious times. We've all signed up to be here right now during these amazing times. And we have so much help waiting on the other side for us to ask for their help. And if you're, this might help push people to the other side. Because a lot of people are very resistant to ask. They feel like they're bothering them or they're asking too much. Ask away. Big, small, vague, specific, it doesn't matter, but ask. Because they're serving you out of so much love that every time you allow them to help you, it allows them to grow because they're being in service out of love. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a win-win. That's the one thing they keep saying over and over is, please let us help you more. Please let us help you more. Please tell people that. So that's what we're doing, Annette.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the intuition. It's interesting for me, Robbie, because there are times when I simply know that I get that feeling that this is right for me.
Yes. Intuition is how we're guided. The body, right? That you feel it in your solar plexus. If you do I call it a 3-second gut check, you know in 3 seconds whether something is a yes or a no. If you go beyond 3 seconds, now the mind's involved. And that first thought that pops in, that's probably from the other side. It's that second or third thought, okay, now your mind is engaged. But our intuition is like a muscle. You know, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And I know you have been using that intuition for so long, and you have that muscle, just like Rosemary, so developed that if you're not paying attention, something's going on, because you're always tuned in. You're always tuned in. You're really listening to that intuition. Everybody has intuition. That's what's here to guide us. Yeah. We were designed to be using this assistance, and 5 amps of power on your own versus 5,000 amps of power with their help. It seems like a no-brainer to me. Why wouldn't you ask their help? We were supposed to be doing this. But if you want to do it by yourself, that's fine. Tangled messes, nothing wrong with that.
Well, as you mentioned, this is the planet of choice. And so it's totally up to us. We can want to be a control freak. And I know that was me for a long time.
Me too. I'll raise my hand to that one.
And it's like, whoa.
Yep, I got the t-shirt for that one. Yep. Oh, big time. Yeah.
And we're sitting here and we're laughing and having a really, really good time today. That doesn't mean that everything is beer and Skittles.
Oh, I love that phrase. That must be Australian, beer and Skittles.
It is.
Oh, that just sounds that those two would not go together, but leave it to you Aussies. Beer and Skittles. Chocolate, yes. Beer, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Skittles.
True.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't like beer either.
Oh, I like beer. But I can't, I don't drink it because it lowers my frequency, my vibration. Alcohol does. And so I really spend too much time keeping that vibration up high to have one beer just knock me back down, I want to be able to be as clear a channel as possible.
Well, again, that's a choice, isn't it? And as we go through life, Robbie, we're not about you, certainly me, changing my choices, making better choices for me, deciding that, yes, I do want to be happier. I do want to be healthier. I want to be on this planet a long time. So it's important I take care of my body.
You know, and I think I know we've both been through hard times in the past. We've both been at the other end of this. You know, I almost died twice and was in a lot of pain and in bed for, at least 6 to 9 months because I was so sick. But I was not listening. I was not listening to my body. I was not listening to my soul. I had no clue about any of this. So it's almost like I had to go way down twice because I'm an overachiever, not just once. Let's almost die twice, right? And then just kind of start to pay attention to what really got me on this path, Annette, is it's like I survived these really slim odds. And it's like, okay, why am I still here? And what's the point of being here? And that got me in my early 30s going down this road that most people don't go down until they're, later in life, 60s, 70s. So I was grateful that I was able to start with those questions at a much younger age than most people do.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting. For me, there's always a catalyst. And who knows, there could well be people finding this pandemic as a catalyst, that for them, the lights go on and it's like, oh, really? This is why I'm here.
Yes, this is a big catalyst that's affecting people worldwide in so many ways. I mean, look at how much things have changed in just a couple of months. This is huge. And even insights that we didn't have before, like with the police brutality and Black lives, the life that they have to live, that was really not part of a lot of our awareness. But I think that this is why when you're struggling and your mind gets triggered, the question you really want to ask is, why is this here on my path? And how is it here to help me grow? Because we're here to grow as souls. And that's what we talk about in Vibrant Living, is that you're a soul having a human experience. And this particular journey is about something that your soul wants to master, whether that's forgiveness or acceptance or deeper levels of self-love. And usually, I think you get a lot of old souls listening to your program. When you're an older soul, you take on more challenging things because you've already done the easier stuff, right? Why would you sign up for second grade again? You've been there, you've done that. And so, but a lot of times with older souls, you're not just learning this for your own individual consciousness, you're also using it to help raise the consciousness of the collective as well, which is what's happening worldwide, is we are slowly, one by one, raising the collective consciousness. It starts individually, grassroots, and that's what we're seeing. And here in the United States especially, we need to start learning about a more simplistic life, the materialism. Is this helping or hindering the planet? A lot of things people just don't think about. So many lessons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Annette has joined us too. Bless her.
Oh my gosh, it's like a reunion. It's an Australian reunion. I love it. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to hear these names again and to connect, even though I can't see them. I just know they're there. Another one doing fabulous work. Oh my gosh.
I know. And Annette has a book in the pipeline as well. And of course, Rosemary already has one out there.
Well, we need to talk about those too. What are the titles?
That's a good question. Well, of course, Rosemary is she'll need to write it down. How to move forward, something like. And
powerful.
Robbie, it's very similar. What I like about Rosemary's book is that I can hold it in my hands, and I'd be able to do the same thing with Vibrant Living, I'm sure. Hold it between my hands and ask a question. And then it's interesting because no doubt the relevant pages will open. And these self-help books are so useful because, sure, we can read them from cover to cover. But we don't have to. They're there as a resource, a practical resource.
Mm-hmm. And there is energy in these books. I don't doubt that there's energy in Rosemary's books. I know there's energy in mine. I'm sure there will be in Annea's as well. We're just, I feel like I'm the human member of the team. I'm the one who goes and physically does this thing, putting it together and making it available, but they're guiding me with the information. And they're not just giving the information, they're putting energy into it. So it was kind of interesting with Gary's book, Secrets of Aboriginal Healing. I had a woman, I think she was from Canada, and she sent me an email that said, I just got to tell you, and this is not the only time I've heard this. She said, I had bought the book. It had the receipt in it. I asked my husband to hold the book while I got something out of my purse. And then I noticed his hands had rainbow colors after he had held the book. And then the receipt had rainbow colors coming off of that when I pulled it out. So there's energy in these books. And there's Aboriginal healers that are behind the energy in the Secrets of Aboriginal Healing. And there are others who have, again, each book, somebody else is behind that. And I just happen to be the human person who's willing to put it out there and write it the way they want it, which makes it so much easier for a person who doesn't like to write. They just tell me what they want. Don't make me do it on my own. I wouldn't know what to say.
Well, you and Annette have something in common, because Annette has a book coming out later this year, The Angel Code, Journey into the Words Whispered to Me. And
wow.
Annette has written down the angel's words.
Oh, that is they both sound like books we got to have. Yeah, You're right. Hold on to them, read it, and then integrate it, Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yes. So there's lots of help. You lovely ladies are being helped by those on the other side to create these wonderful gems for the rest of us.
Yeah, because there's so much, it doesn't need to be this challenge where the mind is just controlling us and abusing us and creating so much anxiety and fear. There's so much help and love available to us. And if we realized how much we were loved, and if we realize that we're never alone, we always have someone by our side from the other side, I think it would change a lot of people. And you would get rid of a lot of that fear, because I know that you and I have been through many experiences that have brought us out the other side and realized, oh, that's just my mind, and learned how to control it. And so that's what I know that I definitely wanted to put that in Vibrant Living, because people know their minds are sabotaging them, but they don't know how to stop it. And yes, ask for help. But I also laid out the steps that they've given me on how to let go of the mind controlling you and taking you over and using you. Because a lot of people, they don't even know they're being used by their minds. It's an unconscious thing, and then it develops into this habit, and it's just, you get emotionally attached and you get pulled in, and you don't know how to find your way out. And this is steps on how to move beyond that and come back to that, like we described earlier, peace no matter what's going on, and happiness and health and being healthy. Yeah.
Indeed. And to realize that something that might appear, oh my goodness, why is this happening to me? there's a very, very good reason in it. And sometimes we can see them straight away, and sometimes we don't. The thing for me is to trust the process and know that, yes, it's for my well-being that this is happening.
Yes. And with help, you can move through that much quicker and much with a lot less pain and struggle, like we talked about, with a lot more ease and grace and joy. So that's where they can help you understand. When you ask for them to help you with this, they'll help you understand why this is on your path. Not only giving you that understanding, but also helping you move through it. Again, that 5 amps of power on your own versus 5,000 amps of power with their help. They help you understand it and help you not need it on your path anymore. Because once you get it, you don't need it. I'll tell you, I struggled with smokers. I lost a really close family member to smoking, and I got really upset with tobacco companies and people who were still smoking that were loved ones of mine. And then I just found myself constantly surrounded by smokers. Couldn't seem to get away from them. And then I asked my guides, help me with this, because it's not good to be in that angry, frustrated mode, right? There's no point in that. And so they helped give me that realization that this is a free will planet. This is like a learning lab. It's a school. And there's nothing wrong with people smoking. It's part of how they're learning to honor and respect the body and to nurture it. And what happens if you don't? What happens when you do? It's just another learning tool. And so then I realized, oh, okay, that's their path. That's not my path. And that this is what's needed for them to learn whatever they're here to learn. And then I didn't get in that angst and frustration anymore. I just had that acceptance. I may not have liked it, but I accepted it. And the smokers went away. And because I didn't need that anymore, I wasn't triggered by it anymore. So that's the key, is to find out what triggers you and then ask why. Why am I getting triggered? Do I have expectations? Do I have distortions? Because our minds will lie to us left and right. The body won't lie. And what I think and this is a quote that I love, and it's in the Vibrant Living, how we're not here to save Mother Earth. Mother Earth is here to save us. She has volunteered to be a learning lab to help us raise our consciousness individually and collectively. So you start to realize that everything happens for a reason. Everyone has agreed to this, including the wildlife of the wildfires and oil spills, and even people who are victims of shooting sprees. They've all agreed to this to help us learn. And so that's what you want to realize is, okay, even the pandemic, how is this helping us shift and grow very quickly? How is this here to help us? And it's certainly leveling the playing field, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And the United States needed to get hit really hard, and boy, we're doing a bang up job of it. We are just off the charts with, because of the political system and people. And so we have not learned that. It needs to hit a lot of people here, and it's certainly doing that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I found, Robbie, that once I understood that we have many lifetimes, that made it easier for me to accept the fact that, okay, we do come in for a lifetime and then we depart. And some of us depart a lot earlier than others. And whilst in human terms, that can be tragic, it's all part of the learning for all of us.
Yes. And that you have things that your soul wants to master, maybe in this lifetime. And so you will have soul contracts with people to help you master that. And that's also in Vibrant Living. You have to cover that, right? Because it's you might have such a hard time with people who have done egregious things to you in the past. But if you realize you're an older soul who came in to learn deeper levels of forgiveness, and you have soul contracts with these people who are going to commit these things, or maybe you're clearing up karma. That's not unusual too. But usually it's more for learning. I don't see a lot of people that have a lot of karma that they need to clean up. It's usually that they're here to master something on a deeper level. And so if you're an older soul, you're going to get more advanced learning. So you're going to get some real doozies to forgive. And that's what you're here to go through. You get this conditioning, you get these distortions of the mind, and the mind telling you things, and then your soul wants you to experience that, and then your soul wants you to come out the other side of that, where the mind is not controlling you. You're coming from the heart rather than the mind. That's what this journey is about, is learning how to put this mind back into its support role, supporting the soul, not in charge. But the mind is a powerful tool, but it's a powerful tool designed to assist the soul, not be in charge. And that's what's reflecting, is a world where the minds are in charge. What a grand experiment that is. And so that's where you have to realize, am I here to learn acceptance? Am I here to learn deeper levels of self-love? Because if you're here to learn deeper levels of self-love, you might be born with what society perceives as a flaw. You might be born with something that leads you to believe you're less than, because you need to realize you are an amazing, divine, luminous being, exactly the way you need to be for this particular journey. If you and I needed to be taller in this journey, we would be taller. But for some reason, You and I just never really got that tall in this journey. But you know, Annette, if we come back and do this again, I want to do it where you and I are both tall and we find each other, okay? That would be a trip.
Things come in small packages.
They do. And I've been told it's because we're not intimidating. And so it's easier for me to get up in front of an audience and not intimidate people, or to say things and people are not intimidated. And my gosh, who's going to be intimidated by you? You're just sweet as pie. Skittles and beer. My new phrase.
I'd love to. And they are thoroughly enjoying the show. And Rosemary has another comment, bless her.
Oh, I love it.
The angels keep telling me to be empty. I didn't really understand what they meant until they told me to let go of the past. Everything from the past, to live each day as if it is the first day of your life, to use the potential in the new dawn to create a world that is good for everyone.
Ah, thank you, Rosemary. That is so powerful and wise. Present moment. Absolutely. That's a construct of the mind, the past and the future. You know, it's something that we've agreed to on this planet, to have time and space. But yes, present moment is all there is. That's very well put, Rosemary. Thank you.
And Anaya is saying, so funny what you were saying about height. Good point about height, and your observations about not being intimidating, which is an open doorway for you so often.
Yeah. And I think it's no accident. I know it's no accident. You and I are both women, and we love to have a good time. You know, we've got this sense of humor that just bubbles out of us, and love people. I think it makes it easier for people to approach us. And of course, if you're doing a blog talk, a personality here, of course you're doing this. Yeah.
So now Rosemary's point brought up something for me, in that there's no point in, and I'm sure you mention it in Vibrant Living, there's no point to be in the past, nor because we can, it's negative feelings that can come up about the past, or we can fear what's coming in the future. The important thing is the moment that we have now.
Absolutely. And that comes back to, again, when the mind is controlling you and it takes you over and it can abuse you, it loves to take you down dark alleys of the past and dark alleys of the future. And how you overcome that, because it is habit. It's like a skill. You learn it just like you learn any other new skill. You get better and better at bringing that mind back to the present moment. Back to the present moment. What am I dealing with at this very moment? And the more of a crisis, the more you have got to stay in the present moment. And the worst time to be thinking about the past and allowing the mind to take you down those dark alleys of the past or the future is at night in bed, when you're tired. My mind is not allowed the microphone at night in bed. That's just asking for trouble. So you learn, if you need to think about something, and worrying and thinking about something are two different things, but you find a time when you're rested and you're fed, but not at night in bed. Yeah. And staying in the present moment will always serve you well. I'm so glad you brought that up, Rosemary.
So it is fascinating. You mentioned nighttime, and things can seem so much darker and more severe at nighttime, whereas we wake up with a new day and we can have a totally different attitude.
Yeah, and I think that what I've learned is, if you can hand things over to your team, your spirit guides, your angels, whomever, but if you hand things over to them and ask them, help me get through this, and then just hand it over, you will feel better in the morning, because they work on you a lot at night. And you start, and this is also in the book because this is so important, you start paying attention to when it's really easy for your mind to trigger you, when you're really vulnerable to its antics, because the mind is fear-based. and a control freak, like you talked about, so it will go into that fear, negativity, stress if you allow it. And so you start paying attention to, okay, what just triggered that? What created that reaction in me? And paying attention to it and learning how to let it go. Just because you thought it, just because you're used to thinking about it and going down that dark alley, doesn't mean you need to keep doing it. It's about learning how to redirect your mind. And you're so good about gratitude. You have always espoused gratitude. And so redirect it to, what am I grateful for? Even right now in the pandemic, what am I grateful for? It's allowing me to slow down and pull out things, hobbies I haven't touched in a long time, go down different trails that I normally would never take because I'm so used to my routines. So it's opened up my world. Like, I love how you put that in the very beginning. It's closed things, but it's opened other things.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Annette is saying that learning gratitude for my past choices has been a major journey for me and has opened me to greater love than I ever knew existed.
Yeah. Well, that's lessons well done. Very good. Yeah. I think that's part of the growth, isn't it? You realize this is design. There's no mistakes. There's certainly healthier, easier choices, but it's all learning process. And so Annette has taken that and learned from it. And that's where you see the blessing. That's where you see how this was a gift. The darkest moments are the biggest gifts. As for me, and I know you would probably say the same thing about for what you've gone through, those have been the greatest blessings. They were the toughest, but they've also given me the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that is something that I'd really like to impress on our audience, that yes, we might feel as though we're in a hole or a dark place, but to be able to stand back if we can and have another look at it from a different perspective. What is this? Why is this in my life? What is it showing me? What is it teaching me?
And that's why I think when you start engaging the help of your powerful guardian angel, they will help you understand why it's there and help you move through it much easier and not be, I call it like a Teflon coating. You have Teflon there in Australia, right? The coating, right?
Yes.
And so it's like they help you so that you don't get triggered anymore like you used to. It doesn't bother you. So you find that down the road, I'm sure you feel the same way. Down the road, you find that you're very different. Days, weeks, months, and years. And that's what this book is about, is to help you shift and change. So you're going to find that you're different. Your mind isn't getting stressed. When you need help, you're much quicker at asking for it, recognizing the signs. But your mind is really sort of in support role, support staff, not trying to figure it all out, trying to make it all happen in ways that your soul doesn't intend. And that's where you just start living a more joyful, I don't go into stress anymore. I don't think you do either. We've moved beyond that and learned how to, guess who just kicked up a fit? It's my mind. And that's where I'm like, oh, nice try. Try. But I don't think so. Yeah.
Now, Robbie, we've been talking about this book, and I do want to make another comment from Rosemary in a moment. I know it is readily available in ebook form through Amazon, and you do tell me that it's coming out in print form, which I'm very excited about, because I do like to have the printed copy that I can refer to.
I do too. Right now, people can buy it as an ebook, or they can buy it in a PDF form, but then they have to print it themselves if they want to not just read it on a computer. So hopefully in another day or two, it will be available in a book form. And I thought it would be up by now, but the latest next week. But it will be available any day now in a book form. And it's not a very big book. We wanted to make it a small, condensed version with all this information in really easy 60 days. You'll blow through it in one night. But do it in the order. There's a reason that we have them in the way that we do. But it's just going to make you see things more clearly, and it'll help you recognize. You're going to get some aha moments. You're like, oh,
Mhm.
that's why that person's in my life. I see now. And the people that bother you the most are your greatest blessings. They're here to teach you the most. Yes. So that's part of it. You start having that awareness, and then the angel will help you then shift through to the other side of that, where you find the gratitude like Annette has. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Amazon is the best way forward?
Amazon, I like to support the mom and pop bookstores, but certainly Amazon has it up there. My website also has it, but I think
Good.
for knowing there's people from Australia, I'd say Amazon, because they're much better at getting things to other countries. So yeah, and I was thrilled. The very first person who bought the book was from Norway. Like, Norway, what, it's just, you just never know. But it's a message that I think resonates with people, because people almost everybody has a story from the other side of the veil. Their loved one or angels have been present, or there's been a sign or something. And those are my favorite things to teach, are angel classes. And every person in the audience has an angel story. And we also talk about, in Vibrant Living, deceased loved ones and how to connect to them and what's going on with them, and that you're not bothering them, and that they do check in on us sometimes. Depends on who they are, but it's not uncommon for them to show up at Christmas or weddings, as special occasions. And so how to recognize, I wanted to put that information in there about how to recognize when they're there, how to communicate to them, because a lot of people are losing a lot of loved ones right now. So we wanted to include that information too.
Now, your website is Holz Wellness. Now, that's HOLZ, or Z, as you say.
I know, you always catch me with that, yeah.
.com.
Yeah. I know, the first time I heard Zed was from you, I'm like, what was that? Yeah. But all the Aussies use Zed, don't they? I mean,
Yes.
That's just, I'm curious how many other countries do as well, but yeah.
Yeah, not sure.
So I'll use Zed now and then, just to,
Oh, do you?
Yeah, every now and then.
Now,
people have Zed in their name, right? Yeah.
Rosemary was saying the angels kept telling her to feel my feet on the floor when I am walking. If you feel your feet, it helps to stop your thinking and brings you into the moment. That's a really good practical tool, isn't it?
Yeah, to ground. Yes. I have a friend who was able to see things on the other side of the veil, and when she first met me years ago, she said, boy, you are not in your body, girl. And a lot of us are not in our bodies. We're just, tethered. And so feeling your feet to the ground is a fabulous, easy way to ground. That's very effective. Yeah. Thank you, Rosemary. She's just full of information. I'm telling you. Rosemary is a fabulous teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're so blessed, aren't we? I delight in how the universe brings people together. We are introduced to people who we are meant to meet with in this lifetime. And I dare say some of us have been together in many lifetimes.
Yes. And we'll continue. Yes. And I don't take that for granted, because I know there are people that don't have any like-minded people around them physically, geographically. And there are some tough places where they have to work. Government, even Hollywood, it's frustrating for them. And I feel blessed that my job in my work, I get to meet people like you and Rosemary and Annette. It's like, oh, how lucky am I? Yeah, it's great.
Well, the thing is it's the gratitude. Gratitude is I know we've mentioned it before, a fabulous key to, because even on a yucky day, or if I'm feeling yucky, to be able to be grateful for the fact that, hey, I can see the difference between a yucky day and a happy day, a yucky me and a happy me.
Yeah, yeah. And then you appreciate so much more when you're feeling better or the sun comes out or whatever. Yeah.
Mm.
I have to tell you, a couple of days ago, I it's fairly unusual, but I woke up in a funk. And I don't know if it's just, I think it was digesting too much of the news. I was just getting a
Mm.
little bit too much. I needed to shut it down for a little bit. And I was just in a little bit of a frustrated mode with what was happening. And so I asked and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. And I asked my guides, wow, thank you for helping me get rid of this. And a couple hours later, I'm just back up there again. I'm like, you guys are good. Thank you. It's not like anything happened. It's just that they just know they download energy into you. And I needed to have downloaded energy into me, and I needed them to help release things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that I love that they will do is I call it upgrade your software. If you're constantly being bothered by something or someone and you don't want to do that anymore, and you ask them to help you let go of that, they will change you and shift you because you've given them permission. And take this off your cellular memory, take it and pull the stuff out and put more light in it. And you're just lighter and happier and at peace. And it's just so much faster with their help. Yeah. And better than what I could do on my own. Clearly better than what I could do on my own.
So why do we insist so often on doing things alone when we have earth angels, and we also, of course, have our angels surrounding us? And I know for some of us it's difficult to ask. We feel as though, oh, no, I have to be independent.
Yeah.
No, it's really important. I know how much I enjoy helping other people. Mm-hmm. So I figure that let somebody else have the joy of helping. So
yeah,
asking.
That's a good point. And I think the reason we're resistant is the mind doesn't want to lose control. The mind really wants to be behind the wheel all the time, calling the shots, even though it was not intended to do that. And it does not want to give up that control. But what you can do is you can ask your guardian angel, thank you for helping me. Remember to ask for your help. Thank you for helping me easily. Remember that you're by my side. Thank you for helping me develop a stronger connection to you. Really fine tune this intuition. Pick up on your message easier. Notice your guidance more easily. Every step of the way, you keep allowing them to assist. Yeah. I like to say, thank you for helping me open up to what's in my best interest to open. And thank you for helping me let go of what's in my best interest to let go of. Because you may not know specifically what that is, but they know what it is. And now they have the ability to help you with that.
Cool. Robbie, it has been such a joy.
Oh, Annette, it's so fun to see you again. It's been a long time. I can't think of you without thinking of chocolate. And so now I'm going to think of beer and Skittles as well. So, yeah.
For the audience, you and I, we had such a lovely time when I visited you in Seattle and Edmondson. And yes, we shared chocolate. So I must admit.
We did. I remember we went to this beautiful restaurant in the middle of the day. So there's nobody there. So we had the best row on the waterfront, right? And we got this decadent chocolate cake. Oh, it's like, are we living it or what?
And it's so important, Robbie, for us to value those times. Yeah. And okay, yes, chocolate cake is a treat, and to see it like that. And our bodies are amazing, and yes, they do prefer us to eat wholesome foods. However, to be able to embrace a treat and see it for what it is, something occasionally. Very important.
It was a treat, and it was so fun. Yes, so fun. Go to the best restaurant in town and order their best dessert in the middle of the day when nobody's there. Yeah, it was just fabulous.
That's right. And not only are we serving ourselves and by raising our joy level. We're assisting other people. We're going to a local business. And I think in these days, it's like, how can we help other people?
Yes. And I think that's the key. And it's so lovely to see people doing things. It's about not getting hung up on what's going on. That's not, that's frustrating and kind of scary for people, but focusing on the beautiful things people are doing for each other, because there are endless opportunities to do that right now. There are so many people that have things that they need. And I love reading about a woman who found something where she could extend kindness, unexpected kindness, every week to somebody in the most unusual ways. And I thought, what a fabulous thing, you know? Showing up with things at a neighbor's doorstep, just leaving them there, and not just toilet paper, but you know, it just there's so many wonderful things that you can do for people. That's also what's happening right now, is opportunities to help each other. Yeah.
Well, your book is called Vibrant Living, Braving the Pandemic with Help from Your Guardian Angel. Audience, please look for the book and choose to have it in whichever form best suits you. And check, if you haven't checked out Robbie's website, Holz Wellness, now that's HOLZ wellness.com. Give yourself a treat, because it is absolutely wonderful. And sign up for Robbie's newsletter, because they're always a good read. Check her out on Facebook, because you're wonderful with Facebook, Robbie.
Well, they want me to put funny things up there or inspiring things. It's not always easy to find it, but some of the stuff is so funny, and we all need a good laugh, right?
Absolutely.
Or inspiration.
Yes. All right. Pass around the love, everybody. Pass around the joy and the laughter. And if you want another treat, coming up at in about half an hour's time is Annette and Carol and Cross. So be sure to take in them, because you'll find out more, have more fun, laughter, and some learning, I'm sure. Thank you, Robbie.
Thank you,
everyone who has joined us. It's been an absolute treat.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Love to you.